Story Time is brought to you by
न्यूयॉर्क में पाकिस्तानी अमेरिकन की रहनुमाई। पाकिस्तान अमेरिकन एसोसिएशन ऑफ न्यूयॉर्क का खासा है। अमेरिकन पाकिस्तानियों के बाइज्जत और बावकार मकाम के लिए कोशां। पैनी का हर कदम आपके हम कदम।
Okay, children, welcome back. We welcome you to another great session of story time when we listen to great stories from Quran. And we are here once again with another great story of Quran, an inspiring story. And we start our session by saying Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah to you. And before we start our story, let's see who's here with us today.
Hello everyone, it's Isha.
Isha.
Hi, it's Lai.
Lareb.
Hey, it's Moaz from grade 4.
Moaz.
Hey, it's Harim from grade 7 to listen some entertaining stories.
Okay, Harim. Okay, so yesterday we were listening to a story about Prophet Musa and this
People of Bani Israel.
people of Bani Israel, right? When they had to slaughter a cow and they hit a dead man with the meat of that cow, and that man woke up, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now today we are going to listen to another story from time of Hazrat Musa when he met a very intelligent man and his name was Khizr. Now, what happened? That these people of Bani Israel, they were wandering in the desert because Allah didn't let them go to any city because they kept disobeying Allah. So they would travel towards one end of the desert and they will be lost. They will lose their way. They won't find the end of the desert. So they start moving in another direction. And all this time they kept disobeying Allah, and Allah didn't let them go out of the desert. So only thing they had in desert was manu salwa, the tiny birds and that fluffy sweet thing to eat, a water fountain that they carried with them, and a shade that was made by a mountain. Nothing else. Just nothing else. The rest was all sand. And since they were not ready to do exactly the
So
way
where
Allah
did they
was,
sleep?
they were sleeping in tents and sometimes just in open.
And where did that old man who was rich was sleeping?
He was also sleeping in some houses. They made houses. Some of them started to make houses and start living there, and some of them just kept wandering. Rich people were living in houses and rest were sleeping in the open. There was so much difference between rich and poor because rich people in Bani Israel didn't share their money with the poor. They were super rich and poor was super poor. Rich had gold in tons and poor didn't have even a roof. They were sleeping on the ground in the open. They didn't even have food. And that was the problem. That was one problem, that Allah was cursing these people and not letting them go and settle in a city. So now all this time Hazrat Musa was traveling with them. Wherever they went, Hazrat Musa was with them. And he was continuously educating them, telling them good things. And they would listen to him and then ignore. Listen to him and then forget. So one day, while he was talking to them, and he said that Allah has given knowledge, and knowledge is power, and we should all try to get knowledge. Knowledge is a blessing. Knowledge has lots of power in it. And somebody from the people of Bani Israel who were listening to him said, "Who is the most knowledgeable people here?" And Hazrat Musa, without thinking much, without saying that only Allah knows who's the most knowledgeable, said, I am the most knowledgeable, of course, because I'm a prophet. And Allah didn't like this.
Who said that?
Hazrat Musa said,
So he was being told by Shaitan to do
well, no, Shaitan, it was his guess. Yes. He thought that Allah has made him prophet, so then Allah must have given him more knowledge than other people. He was right in a way as well. Because prophets are always the most knowledgeable people. But Allah didn't like this. He should have said MashaAllah or Alhamdulillah, or he should have said that only Allah knows that who's the most knowledgeable. But he didn't say this. He just took all the credit. It was not in a bad way. He was saying it because he was a prophet.
because they asked that who was here, so that is.
Yes, of course. And Allah didn't say anything to Hazrat Musa at that time. But when all the people were gone, Allah talked to Musa. And Allah said that you are not the most knowledgeable person in this area. We have given more knowledge than you to another servant of ours. There is a good man here, and I, meaning Allah, has given that person lots of knowledge. And Prophet Musa was surprised.
So Allah made him a prophet as well.
No, he was not a prophet. So first Hazrat Musa was sorry. He said, I'm sorry that I thought that you, Allah, has given me more knowledge than anybody else. So I'm sorry that I thought that way. And now I would love to meet this person whom you have given so much knowledge, who is so smart. What's his name? And Allah said, his name is Khizr. And Hazrat Musa said that, can I meet this man? I would love to meet this man. And Allah said, yes, of course, you can meet this man. And Hazrat Musa asked, what I'll have to do to meet this man? And Allah said, you leave tomorrow morning and travel beside this river. There was this river that flowed between the desert, not far from the camp or the people of Bani Israel where they lived. And Allah said, take some food to eat and keep a fish in your bag and leave the top of the bag open and just keep going beside the river, keep traveling and keep an eye on that fish in your bag. And whenever you see that the fish has jumped out of the bag and gone into the river, whichever way you see that fish going, just look in that direction and that man, Khizr, will be waiting for you right there. So they did exactly.
Walking or swimming?
What? Fish or the man?
Man.
No, the man would be sitting.
No, Hazrat Musa.
Hazrat Musa was walking. The fish was dead in the bag. And the fish would come alive when they would come to the spot where Khizr was waiting for Hazrat Musa. And Allah told Khizr that Musa is coming and he will spend time with you. He wants to learn from you. So fish would have come alive, go into the river.
But Allah only sent his messages to the prophets.
No, sometimes he sent people to angels, so angels can communicate some message to some very special people. And Allah can put thoughts into other people's mind also. Allah still puts thoughts to other people's mind. The book, the message will not come anymore, but Allah put good thoughts. Even in dreams, Allah put thoughts to people. Right? Now, So when they started traveling right beside the river, they kept on going and going and going and going till it was mid-afternoon, and Hazrat Musa thought that they would meet Khizr after a short while, was dead tired. And Hazrat Musa said to his student that we must eat food now. The journey has been so long. His follower, his student or disciple was
So
with
was
him.
Hazrat Harun with him?
No, he was not with him. He was managing Bani Israel. His job was to make sure that Bani Israel are safe and sound and not fighting with each other and living properly in the community. He was like the mayor of the city. So now this bag, this boy was carrying this bag on his shoulder, and it has some food to eat and this big fish in the bag. And they kept going and going, and Hazrat Musa thought that maybe around 10 or 11 they would reach a place and they would find Khizr there. But it was 1 o'clock, way past afternoon, and they didn't find Khizr. And Musa said that let's sit down and let's have our food. And the boy who was his student, his follower, sat down with him, his disciple. And right when he was about to take the food out, he said, "Oh my God, I forgot to mention, way back there, the fish was alive and it jumped into the river, and Shaitan made me forget. I forgot to tell you." And Hazrat Musa said, "Oh my God, Khizr must have been waiting for us for so long there." And the boy said, "I'm so sorry that I forgot." And Musa said, "Pack up everything, put food back into the bag. Let's go back and see where is Khizr. Do you remember where that fish came out of the bag?" He said, "Yes, I remember." And they rushed back. So they had to go back 2 hours till they reached a big stone, and the boy said, "This is the place where the fish came out and went straight into the river."
Did they found the fish?
No, fish was gone. Fish was not there. So Musa asked this boy, "Do you remember which way the fish went in the river?" He looked and he said, "Yes, that way." And they looked that way, and right there under the tree, Hazrat Khizr was sitting waiting for them. So they went to Khizr, and Musa said, "I am Musa." And he said, "Yes, I know. You don't have to introduce yourself. I know." And he said, "I'm here to get some knowledge from you." And Khizr said, "Yes, I also know this, that you are here to get some knowledge from me. But how can you get knowledge from me if you do not have the knowledge that Allah has given me? I have lots of knowledge that Allah has given me. How can you understand things that you do not know about? My knowledge is from Allah, and Allah tells me things from the future, and you do not know the future."
He
So
was
what-
a kind of darwish.
Yes, he was Darwish. And he said that how can you stay with me and learn from me? Because whatever I do now, it's all about what is going to happen in the future. Whatever I'm doing now is whatever is going to happen in the future.
So was he an old man?
Yes, he was old man.
So he just died like a
Died?
Hazrat Khizr.
Yeah, he must have died later on. But at that time, he was a strong man, but an old man. Now, Hazrat Khizr said, "Oh, don't worry. You will find me very patient. I will just observe. And Khizr said, don't ask me any questions. Okay? Hazrat Musa said, yes. Fine. I will not ask you any questions. I will answer all your questions when I want to. Okay? And Hazrat Khizr said, okay. So they started to travel. And Hazrat Khizr said to Hazrat Musa that we are going to go towards the other end of the river and we will go on a boat. And there were many boats by the river bank. And Hazrat Khizr chose a boat and he said, come with me. Let's get on this boat. So Hazrat Khizr, Hazrat Musa and Hazrat Musa's follower, his disciple, the three of them sat on the boat. And when they reached on the other side of the river, Hazrat Khizr said that here is the money. The boat ride we took with you, here is the money for that. And those two young boys who owned the boat, who brought them on the other side of the river, they said, no, you're such nice people and you're old people and you look so sweet and so nice and so humble. We will not take any money from you. And Hazrat Musa was so happy. He said, look, these two young boys, they're so nice. So Hazrat Khizr said, okay, very nice. Good thing you have done. Boys, can you do me another favor? He said, what? Can you go over there in their way over there and get me some of that fruit on that tree? We are old people, we cannot go there. They said, yes, of course. We will go there and get you some fruits. And as those boys left to get those fruits from the trees for them, Hazrat Khizr took a chisel and a hammer and made a hole in the boat. And Hazrat Musa kept looking, what this man is doing.
So if he made the hole in the boat, the water of the river will come inside.
Yes. So now it has a flow, right? So boys had to fix it before they put it back into the river. And Hazrat Musa said, why you have done this? They have given us a free ride and you have made a hole in the boat?
He asked the question.
He asked the question. And Hazrat Khizr said, didn't I tell you not to ask me a question? I told you, you will not have patience with me. You will not be able to bear with me. And Hazrat Musa remembered his promise. He said, oh, sorry. So they left from there and they went into a town. And right in the middle of that small village, some children were playing. And there was this boy, cute little boy, about 5 to 6 year old, who was playing there. And he was a beautiful boy. And Hazrat Khizr looked around like he's trying to find somebody. And he looked at that boy and he said, do you see that boy? He said to Musa. And Musa said, yeah, such a cute boy. He said, okay, wait, what I'm going to do with this boy. He said to boy, here, would you like to have some candy? He said, yes. And Hazrat Khizr took him on a side and killed him. And Hazrat Musa was furious. He said, you killed a small boy, such a cute boy. And Hazrat Khizr said, didn't I tell you not to question me? You have questioned me again. And Hazrat Khizr remembered his promise. He said, oh, sorry. I will not do this again. And they went to another town. And it was night by then. And he said to people.
So did anyone saw that he killed the man?
No one saw him. They took him on a side, killed him and then left. And they went to another village. And they asked the people of the village for some food. And no one gave them food. No one let them stay.
Why?
Because they were very cruel people. Except for this one house where these two boys lived who were very poor and they had no food. So they said, you can stay with us. But there was this wall coming down in that village. And next morning, Hazrat Khizr said, we are going to build this wall. And he started building the wall. And when he finished building the wall, Hazrat Musa said, you build a wall when people didn't care for you. Why you build this wall for them? Another question. And Hazrat Khizr said, this is the end of our journey. Now we are going our own ways. But before I leave you, I'll tell you the reason for all the three things I have done. The first, about the boat. A king was coming behind us who was grabbing all the boats, the good working boats by the river. And I created this hole so king would have no need for this boat. So after we have come, the king came and he took all the boats except the boat of these two brothers. And about that boy, Allah had told me to kill him because his parents were very good Muslims. And this boy, when he was to grow up, he would have gotten under the control of shaitan and he would have hurt his parents. And Allah didn't want his good people to be hurt. So Allah told me to kill him. And about that wall, these two boys, their parents were very good. And these are two orphan boys. And their parents have hidden some gold and money for their children under this wall. If this wall would have fallen, the treasure would have come up and people would not have given that treasure to these two boys. So I had to rebuild it. So now you know that my knowledge is from Allah, and whatever I have done today, it all relates to the future that only Allah knows, and He tells it to people that He wants to. Isn't this interesting?
Yes.
What's interesting in it?
The king, when he just put a hole in that boat.
Hole in the boat, yes. What else?
And how he killed the boy.
And how he killed the boy.
And Hazrat Musa kept asking the questions.
Keep asking the questions, right?
He had no patience.
He had no patience. So children, tomorrow you will find us here again with another great session of stories, great stories from Quran. Till then, keep listening to your parents and keep obeying Allah. Assalamu alaikum.
Story time was brought to you by
न्यूयॉर्क में पाकिस्तानी अमेरिकन्स की रहनुमाई। पाकिस्तान अमेरिकन एसोसिएशन ऑफ न्यूयॉर्क का खासा है। अमेरिकन पाकिस्तानियों के बाइज्जत और बावकार मकाम के लिए कोशां। पैनी का हर कदम आपके हम कदम।